you started.
I'm tired.
Yeah. I would be too. Well, look at all this.
I'm
Look at all
tired.
you've achieved. And it's actually quite, when you think of, is it 2 decades we're talking?
Probably more like 3.
3 decades.
Yeah.
There's a lot that you've achieved in
Yeah,
that
maybe
amount of
4
time.
decades, because I started getting songs recorded in the 80s.
Yeah.
I was 2.
And yeah, of course. And you were playing piano from like age 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was, yeah.
So songwriting since you were a child.
But not realizing what I was doing,
Yeah.
but I would always tinker around with, that's how I expressed myself. I always loved the pop song, the 3-minute pop song, and I think I would emulate them. If I heard music and it didn't have words would come to me, but I never thought what I'm doing is writing songs. Where when you cooked, you knew what you were doing was cooking. When you ran, you knew you were running. I didn't know that that's what I was doing. I had no idea that that's what I would do as a profession. It was just sort of a cathartic way to express myself when I was little.
But when did you realize there was nothing else that you possibly wanted to do? That songwriting was it?
Probably in college, when I was studying something completely different.
What were you studying?
Fashion design, fashion merchandising, buying and selling.
Oh.
And I was still writing songs, and I would go up to a piano rehearsal room at the Fine Arts Building every day after classes and write songs, and then go to classes. But this was before the internet, so I had nobody to watch on YouTube or follow on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram that said, here's how to write a song, here's how to get a publishing deal. Nobody was posting their own work. I thought, whoever was singing the song I heard on a radio wrote it. I didn't realize at the time that you could write a song and send it to an artist to be recorded, which was very prevalent back then. Not so much anymore, because the artist wants to be in the room writing whether they can write or not. And a lot of them can. And a lot of them can't.
Yeah.
So I was just doing what I always did. And when I got out of college, I went to the garment district in New York and interviewed for some jobs. And I was still writing songs. And I didn't love the environment of the garment district. And I saw some ad in these things called the newspaper when I was looking for apartments.
I'm 38, I remember the newspaper.
And I saw this ad for a songwriting group that met in the back room of a bar in Manhattan every Tuesday. And I thought, are you kidding? Who are these people? Are there more people like me? I mean, I had never met another songwriter, and I had gotten out of college. And I went to that bar, and the room was just filled with people with the same obsession. And we played songs for each other, we wrote songs, we critiqued each other's songs, and they schooled me. And I said goodbye to the garment district and became a waitress and wrote my own songs and learned how to pitch them and get down to the Village and play for free every Tuesday for 20 minutes, wherever you could, just to work out your stuff. Like a comedian would do stand-up to work out their shit, And I never looked back.
You use the word obsession, and I think that's so telling, because I think you need obsession in order to have a
Fire.
music career.
Yeah.
That fire in your belly.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking about how, Bitch with Meredith Brooks came out, was it 11 years after your first album cut?
Mm-hmm.
So what kept you going in that time before you had your first major hit, your US hit?
There was, what kept me going? I just knew I had it. And I knew if I kept doing it, one day I'd have to hit it. There were a lot of people I work with that had their it a lot sooner than I did. They didn't last. A lot of them didn't last because they didn't do the work. I was so frustrated at not having a hit so quickly that I worked harder at my craft and learned. I think that was helpful. It made me wait. The universe made me wait. The universe makes me wait for many, many things. And I don't think that that's a bad thing. By the time you get it, you cherish it, you value it, and you're more comfortable having waited and you know what you're doing. There was also more opportunity, Poppy, in the 90s to write songs with other songwriters and pitch them to outside artists. So if there were more opportunities, you just kept doing it. And I think the number of times you do something, the chances of hitting are better. If you do something once a week instead of 5 times a week, your chances are going to be less. You know, and I didn't stop. That's my phone. Goodbye. Sorry.
Okay.
You didn't stop.
Yeah, I just kept doing it. And my curiosity about the craft was insatiable. The fact that writers that were better than me worked with me, that they felt that I had something to offer or a gift to bring into the room that maybe they didn't have. I learned from them.